Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening for the Somers Town Board work session starting here at 7 o'clock on Thursday, May 5th, 2022. I'd like to make a motion to open up public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is anybody here to make a public comment?
On a non-agenda item.
On a non-agenda item?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi. I'm
If you could just
gentlemen.
state your name and for us.
Sure, I'm Margaret DiLorenzo, and I just have a question about Van Tassel House and wanted to know, are there going to be renovations happening soon? I was just there last weekend and I didn't see anything happening. So just putting it out there.
Well, we're not going to, well, it's public comment, so, but
Okay.
I'll briefly just answer that real quick.
Okay,
We have, we're in the talking phases of what we're going to look like, it's going to look like. We have done some cleaning there, known as the alley between the house and Bailey. So we started doing some cleaning there as well.
okay.
Did she say
Did she
Van Tassel or
Bailey?
Bailey?
No, Van Tassel.
Oh, Van Tassel. There's no,
Yes.
there's no, nothing right now at Van Tassel, just from the norm. I thought you said Bailey.
Okay, because I was just reading an article from October and I thought we had a 1.8 million grant. So, but I'll wait to hear your comments.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Anybody else here for public comment? No? Okay, then I'd like to make a motion to close public comment.
Do we have anybody on Zoom?
Anybody on Zoom?
No.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So town board items here. So let's begin with the Somers, our COVID update. Currently, we have 132 active cases here in Somers, and we have 12 new cases. Cumulative throughout the Westchester County, there's about 5,231 cases currently. So we've come up a little bit from last week from what we've seen, but we're still hovering right around that 120, 130 mark that we have. 130 is probably been the highest that we've had in the past couple of weeks. Hopefully with those numbers will start to come down here as the weather starts to get warmer.
Did the county give you a positivity percentage rate, the percentage of people?
I have that on, do we have that on the website?
just
But
wondering.
I can.
Yeah, okay, no problem. I just want.
Our second item here today, we have a representative from Lincoln Hall, Noble Voorhees. He's the Associate Executive Director. We've asked Noble to come in and give us some information about Lincoln Hall and the programs that you have there. I'd like to open up the floor to you to kind of give us an overview of what's going on.
Just make sure you speak into it though, so they can hear you at home.
All right, is this good?
Yeah.
Very good.
Got it.
Very good.
I got it. Good evening, respected town supervisor, elected officials, and fellow Somers residents. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present on behalf of Lincoln Hall and speak about the incredibly rewarding and challenging work we do. Founded in 1863, Lincoln Hall provides specialized services for children, which reflect that all children have the potential to become responsible individuals with a sense of self-worth and respect for others. Lincoln Hall, in partnership with families, forms a community that believes in the lasting effects of focused, caring treatment, enabling children in our care to be more productive members of society. Through the Lincoln Hall programming, the goals are to provide children with the necessary tools to lead successful, productive lives after they leave our campus and return to their home communities. To this end, a partnership is formed with the youth, his family, to support and assist them in formulating realistic goals that begin on the first day on campus and continue long after one departs from on-campus care by providing aftercare and scholarship opportunities. Lincoln Hall is a residential treatment center licensed by the New York State Office of Children and Family Services and contracted by local departments of social service throughout New York State, and also contracted by the Department of Health and Human Services Office of Refugee Resettlement. We provide specialized services for adolescent males ages 12 to 18 within our 3 campus-based programs. There are 3 distinct programs on our campus: the Empowering Youth Program, funded by New York State; the Raise the Age Program, also funded by New York State; and the Family Reunification Program, funded by the federal government. Our license capacity for these programs are currently 26 beds for the Empowering Youth Program, 8 beds for Raise the Age Program, and 100 beds for the Family Reunification Program. At Lincoln Hall, we are committed to providing a safe and nurturing environment for all children, adhering to the philosophies and principles of the trauma-informed care model, with a commitment to preventing the recurrence of maladaptive behavior upon completion of programs at Lincoln Hall. Our professional staff use a strength-based perspective along with positive behavioral intervention system and evidence-based practice, further allowing children to develop skills in the following areas: improve judgment and self-control, gain a more positive sense of self and the ability to achieve, accepting greater responsibilities for their behavior and its consequence, increase respect for and understanding of others, improve relationships with their families, build the self-esteem and self-respect necessary to resist peer pressure, nurture their desire of learning the academics and vocational skills so important to their future, foster a commitment to building community awareness and service through volunteerism, nurture the development of more adaptive skills for coping with conflict, trauma, frustration, and the demands of everyday life. The admissions process for the Empowering Youth and Raise the Age programs are very similar. Referrals to the programs generally come from 3 sources: the Department of Social Services, the Department of Probation, or the Office of Children and Family Services. When a referral is made, Lincoln Hall is provided with several documents for review. This includes court documents, family history, a psychological evaluation, a psychiatric assessment, the school records, including an individualized education plan. The various reports are reviewed by the State Director of Family Services and the Director of Clinical Services and the Director of Residential Services before a consensus is made as to whether a child is appropriate for campus programming. There are over 20 rule-out criteria. For example, Lincoln Hall does not accept sexual offenders, fire setters, or youth involved in serious crimes against persons. We do not accept any referrals from the criminal court system. All children in the Empowering Youth and Raise the Age programs are in the foster care system and are placed through the family courts. If a child is deemed appropriate for our campus programming, the family service team arranges an interview with both the youth and his family. Only after these interviews are conducted are formal acceptance letters sent to the referring agencies. There is a great emphasis on family treatment. An identified family resource is an acceptance criteria. Admissions to a campus programming is a careful and calculated vetting process designed to provide appropriate care and treatment, and also to ensure the safety of all children, staff, and the community. Lincoln Hall only accepts roughly 20% of the referrals that are sent to us. If a child is accepted at Lincoln Hall, he goes through an extensive orientation process. He is evaluated in terms of his educational ability to determine the proper class and curriculums. Comprehensive physicals and other medical tests are administered in the first 2 days a child is on campus. He is given a battery of psychological tests, is interviewed by our consulting psychiatrist, and meets with a licensed clinician to provide a psychosocial history. All of the resulting informations are formulated into a comprehensive treatment plan for the youth and his family. Parents are encouraged to attend each of the youth monthly multidisciplinary treatment team meetings. Youth and families have input in the process, while progress is continuously monitored by various disciplines, clinical, medical, and education. From the first day a youth arrives at Lincoln Hall, the focus is preparing for discharge, aftercare, and the youth's future. The admissions process for the Family Reunification Program is vastly different than for the other two programs. The children in the Family Reunification Program are in the custody of the Office of Refugee Resettlement, which is a part of the federal government. Placement at Lincoln Hall is determined by the Office of Refugee Resettlement. Lincoln Hall operates the Family Reunification Program, which is funded by the United States Health and Human Services. This program provides a safe haven for boys 12 to 17 years of age who have witnessed trauma, abandonment, and/or abuse in their home countries. The Family Reunification Program is designed to help these children reunite with relatives through intensive clinical assessment and case management. Children in this program are generally with us for less than 2 months. At Lincoln Hall, these children receive clinical, medical, educational services on campus, also participating in recreational activities and cultural events. All three programs utilize our campus-based treatment model. At the core of our treatment is our caring professionals, psychologists, social workers, licensed mental health professionals, consulting psychiatrists, medical personnel, educational personnel, milieu staff, and our support staff. Lincoln Hall's treatment services are comprehensive, which include individual casework, group work, counseling, psychological, psychiatric intervention, family therapy, substance use prevention, behavioral, and milieu treatment. An interdisciplinary treatment team is utilized for the formal review of each child's progress while on campus. The core of the treatment team is the residents' clinical psychologists, social workers, caseworkers, milieu staff, counselors, parents, guardians, and family service workers. The treatment team meets weekly on a formal basis and is available for informal and special meetings during the week as the situations arise. A team determines the child's individual needs and ascertains how those needs might be best served. The team also monitors the child's adjustment to placement and ongoing process. Both the child and his guardian are invited and encouraged to participate in the review and the planning process. To meet the medical needs of our children, Lincoln Hall has a campus-based health center that provides medical care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The health center has an 8-bed infirmary and an isolation room for children needing inpatient care. Under the supervision of the medical director, the unit is staffed by 4 registered nurses and 5 LPNs. Children receive thorough physicals and immunizations as required upon entry to program. Lincoln Hall recognizes that recreation is an integral part of a socialization process, enabling children to develop an awareness of self and positive relationships with others. Both team and individual recreational activities are offered after school, in the evening, on weekends, and during vacations for those children remaining on campus. Recreational events which explore and celebrate cultural diversity are also scheduled on a regular basis. Lincoln Hall administers its own campus school, the Ives School, which is fully accredited as a junior and senior high school and officially designated GED testing center by the New York State Department of Education. The school day consists of 5.5 hours of academic instruction in English, reading, math, science, social studies, physical education, vocational education, health, and creative writings are also offered. An education assessment is used to determine the math and reading capabilities as well as proper grade placement. Each student, according to his skill level, credit, and other factors, is programmed towards a New York State Regents diploma curriculum or a GED preparation while on campus. General, remedial, academic, and pre-vocational programs are offered with a wide variety of services in each. A 30-day summer school program supplements our 180-day academic calendar. Remediation is emphasized as many of our students are academically below grade level. All school programs address the individual academic, vocational, social, and emotional needs of the students who may participate in cooperative work experience, work study programs, which are offered to practical, part-time, paid hands-on employment in a variety of areas throughout our campus. Lincoln Hall offers the following vocational classes: building trades, culinary, barbering, computers, photography, and media arts. To deliver high-quality mental health and educational services, we must maintain a safe campus. It is our top priority to ensure safety for all children, staff, and the community we reside in. Without a safe environment, children cannot learn and grow. Therapeutic crisis intervention has long been a part of the Lincoln Hall culture. Lincoln Hall maintains an 8-to-1 child-to-staff ratio on campus at all times while providing 24/7 supervision. In addition to direct care supervision, Lincoln Hall has a team called Program Support that roam the campus 24/7 in order to provide additional supervision and security. Beyond the program support team, there are administrators on duty who also provide supervision and support at a third-tier level. Our supervision and security strategy is built similar to a defensive football team, with the front line being the direct care workers, the second tier being our program support, and our third tier being our administrators on duty. Over the past few years, we have invested in a new camera system campus-wide with strategic placements of more than 160 cameras covering all common areas, school, grounds, and cottages. There are monitoring stations as well as designated computer access for appropriate staff to watch and review locations. Students leaving campus without permission is a violation of internal policy. In an event a youth leaves from campus without permission, immediate notification is made to the supervisor on duty, executive leadership, and program support team, which initiates a campus and local search. The state police are also notified for assistance in a wider search area if needed. Success at Lincoln Hall is defined by the opportunities we provide to the children entrusted in our care. There's a saying on campus that you may leave Lincoln Hall, but Lincoln Hall never leaves you. For almost 30 years, Lincoln Hall has provided college, secondary education, and trade school scholarship opportunities for deserving youth. Successful alumni return to campus and speak with our current Lincoln Hall students. Over the last 5 years, Lincoln Hall has expanded our scholarship programming. We give out scholarships to both Somers and Kennedy Catholic High School. In addition, we have extended our scholarship outreach to underserved communities in Lower Westchester and New York City. Over the last 3 years, we have given out more than $300,000 in scholarship to deserving students. The major focus of Lincoln Hall for more than a century and a half has been to provide hope, caring, and treatment for generations of children, the vast majority of whom have been abandoned and neglected. There have been many positive success stories and, unfortunately, some tragic outcomes. By giving children the opportunity to learn, to change, and make decisions impacting their future, many lives have been altered for the better with the great work by Lincoln Hall. I would like to invite anyone who wants to learn more about Lincoln Hall to visit our campus. We would love to host an open house or invite community members for private tours. We have set up an email, info@lincolnhall.org. info@lincolnhall.org. Please email us if you would like more information about our programming or would like to come visit our campus. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, I've been up here for about 14 years and I've lived in town for about 55. And I appreciate that. I've just, in about the last 15 minutes, I've gotten more information on Lincoln Hall than I've gotten in 55 years. So I appreciate you giving the information. You know, unfortunately, as you say, there have been incidents and that's all we hear about. We don't hear about the success stories. You know, people forget that, you had a state championship basketball team many years ago, and things like that. And I know there's a lot of different cases and people have different opinions on it, but what you just gave us is what I think people were looking for as to sort of your vetting and sort of who you take directive from. So as somebody who has always sort of wondered, and I've had access, I mean, I've talked to past professionals who work there, and what you just gave us was fantastic information that hopefully the town will listen to. Obviously, this meeting will be on a loop, and you could hear all the good things that you do. But I'm sensing the partnership. I know you already have worked with schools where if we have an active, I believe if it's still in place, an active shooter situation, you've given us your campus where we could have parents meet to get their kids. God forbid that ever happens. And I was just commenting to the board that I can't tell you how many thousands of times I've driven by Lincoln Hall, but coming to the meeting today, there was a soccer game going on, and it was nice to see the field getting used and you know, and kids being kids. And, you know, some of these kids aren't necessarily kids because where they come from, they grow up a lot faster than maybe some people do here in this area, just based on the circumstances they're in. But I really do appreciate that information, and I you know, I hope the town listens to it, and they're still going to have questions, and you know, there's still going to be issues as there are on every topic, but we appreciate it.
No, thank you. And if there are questions, I'll send over the info at Lincoln Hall. I'll email it to the town. You can share that. They can actually contact us. We're more than happy to host a open house. They can come tour the campus. There's certain information about the kids we just can't share, unfortunately, but you can learn a lot more about visiting our campus than hearing me talk.
And that's, you know, that's the thing. I don't recall ever there being offered an open house of any type. It always was sort of like, you know, don't cross through the fence because we're not allowed to tell you anything. So hearing this information and seeing that you want to form more of a partnership and with the town is appreciated and will go a long way.
You know, Noble, we've had some conversations, and I've always appreciated your openness and you're willing to tell me what's going on with the programs over there. And to Tom's point, it's important that the town knows, right? There's a lot of questions, and just for you to open yourself up and to host an evening, if people want to come visit and ask questions. You know, knowledge is power, of course, and we want people to be knowledgeable in town and what's going on. And you know, unfortunately, in the past couple of weeks, there has been some negative things, you know, out there. But that's one of the reasons why we wanted you here tonight to explain what's going on, to explain the programs in there, because it is a working relationship. And, you know, if you guys thrive, the town thrives, everybody thrives. And I appreciate you coming in and talking.
No, I appreciate the opportunity, and I am July, June, whenever it is, we want to do an open house, let me know. More than happy to.
Yes, so, you know, just from the community's point of view, I mean, there has been a lot of communication, at least with the boards and the previous boards over the years. You belong to some of the councils that the community council that we work with. So there has been information, but in this business, you know, information and getting it dispersed becomes really a public relations effort. And so I think this is the start to a public relations effort. You know, the community is always worried about safety. And I think you addressed some of that in terms of the types of individuals and the programs that you're dealing with. I think those were very important, you know, concepts in terms of how you get children referred to you and what are the types of programs that you use. One of the things that you said to me that these are what, orphans?
So all the youth placed in our care comes through the foster care system.
Okay, so it's not criminal kid.
No, so we don't accept anyone from criminal court. So all of our kids are in family court. That's why when the kid leaves our campus, it's a violation of internal policy.
Right.
Because they're not sentenced.
Right. And then with the ORR program, is that a refugee program or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's from the Office of Refugee Resettlement. That in its contract, it specifies how we operate it and what we can talk about it. I did send Rob an email this morning with a fact sheet that was released from Washington,
We got
DC.
that, yeah.
Yeah, please share
We're going to
that.
share that on our
Absolutely.
website, and we'll share that.
Can we
So,
get a copy
just-
of your statement as well? Are you able to get us that so we could put that out on the website as well, just so?
I
people
want
can-
it for the, can you send me a copy of what you read? for- for the
Absolutely,
record?
yes.
Thank you.
So, another dimension to this is the number of children that you're dealing with. I mean, you have a capacity of maybe of 100.
All the programs together are a capacity of like 134.
Right.
And all three programs together.
Yes.
What was the peak? I'm just curious. Years ago, was
If
it,
you go back.
was it
right?
much higher? Do you know? I know you're,
252 was our max capacity.
Okay.
When was that?
oh,
2008, 2009.
Okay.
now
Yes.
you're about 138 or something.
Yeah, so that's our max capacity. So we're not even close to max capacity.
Oh, what's your max capacity? The 200 or the
134 is their max
Oh, so
capacity.
you're not even near that capacity now. Oh, okay.
And you have
Wait, I thought you
programs.
said you were at max capacity between empowering youth, raise the age and family.
No,
reunification.
those are what our limits are as far as max
Those are
capacity.
the number of
Yes, yeah. So 26, 8, and 100 is the number of kids we can have in those respective programs.
And what's the
Oh.
current population?
For which ones?
All
of them,
three,
20,
empowering
all,
youth, raise the age, family reunification.
24, 4, and the other one fluctuates. We're around 50 right now.
So you have three programs there that you serve, which I think is information that most people are not familiar with. They come from three different sources, so to speak. In the past, it was pretty much out of New York City.
just trying
If
to
you go back, or
Correct.
throughout New York State, actually, some of them.
But majority of the kids were from New York City
Right.
till about 2011,
Yeah.
12.
And so you contract with various federal government and others for the beds, which they need at the point that they need them. So you get contract with those, even though they're not filled, that's your maximum capacity.
Correct.
Because that's what they're paying for.
Well, no, we actually bill for how many kids we have in the empowering youth and raise the age kids. So we don't get paid for max capacity for those programs.
Only from the family reunification.
Correct.
Yes,
Yes.
right. And you also spoke about, most of them are through foster care, all of them, you said.
The family reunification and raise the age kids are part of the foster care system.
And you said at one point that there was a big part of what you said was part of the program there is when you had meetings with the kids and the family.
Correct.
So I'm presuming that the family is the foster care family.
No, so we are the foster, the family is the actual parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle. So the kids that are in our care are actually are in the custody of the commissioner of the county that they're from.
Right.
Okay. Can you explain the process, right? So for the family reunification program, so you have a young boy come, right? And explain the process from when he comes there, wherever he comes to, right? And finally gets dropped off at Lincoln Hall. Can you just explain the process that happens along the way so people have an understanding?
We don't know about the process we can only speak about when the kid arrives.
Okay.
So I don't know all the extent of what happens prior to it.
Where does the screening take place?
So the kids are the screening process takes place in the Office of Refugee Resettlement.
Okay.
Okay.
So you said earlier, when people are admitted, only 20% of the applicants are admitted. And you vet them, you go through their documentation. The kids who come through from the federal family reunification program, what kind of documentation do they have?
So they have set documentations of how old they are, any kind of medical history that they carry along with them. Very few documentations they come with. Office of Refugee Resettlement does a lot of the fact finding for us, and then they determine the appropriate placement within their care network. So we're considered a shelter. So we provide them with safe care on our campus, education, medical assessments.
And how long has that been a program for you? How long has it been a federal program? And how long has Lincoln Hall been participating in the program?
We've been participating since 2012, I believe, or 2011. And
And we did have somebody come back then and speak to it to tell
from
us that it
DC, yes.
that it was going much more that way than it was for the other two
Right.
Right.
programs.
And the program has been around for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's been happening for quite a while.
Yeah.
And
so-
those kids typically are with you for 2 months, you said.
Less, yeah, less, most of them are less than 2 months.
What-
And then they go to, I mean, they're presuming you're presuming they have family in the country.
So there's already a relative, a connect already identified through the Office of Refugee Settlement. That's why they're here.
So they wouldn't come if there wasn't a relative in this country that they knew
For
of.
us, who come to us, 99% have them.
There's an occasional one who doesn't.
Yeah, there's always 1% or 2% that in any situation.
And what happens to them?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We notify OR and then they come and make the appropriate movements that they
Oh,
need.
so they go somewhere else. to
Yeah,
Some other.
yeah. So they have a
program.
lot of different levels of care.
I'm sure.
Like long-term foster cares and all of these different type of programs. We're just a shelter. We're meant to be a short-term intervention.
Gotcha.
So, when I'm dealing with the public, when children come into this setting, they may come in on a bus. There may be many more children on that bus. You're taking just the 1 or 2 that essentially
That is correct.
meets your contractual requirements. And then the bus goes somewhere else within the county, the state, or whatever to meet the needs of the rest of the individuals.
Correct.
That's a great question.
Do they go to school together? You talking about your school? Or-
They're all in the same building, but they have different educational programming. So the family reunification program primarily is on a different floor, just because their academic programming is different.
Sure. And so when you talk about summer school and the school year and all that, you're talking about a maximum of basically 34 kids. The ones who are there.
Yes, the
Empowering youth and raise the age is
Right.
34 kids.
that's it.
So
And
that's
then
the
the
school.
other ones rotate through. So we run our academic calendar year throughout. And
Right.
so all
But
three
the other
programs,
kids are.
they
right.
come in, yeah.
Right.
So one of the advantages is that they can walk out with at least some grades, in their.
And some's better than none, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So
So, but you don't have enough kids. I was just wondering whether you're ever going to have enough where you could re-enter, like Tom said. You were in the public school athletically
Yes.
going back.
yes.
And I had some games actually in your gym. Very nice. Pat Riley, great guy. You don't have enough kids where you can do that now.
No.
So
So
these
we
kids won't have the opportunity.
So we play in travel basketball teams,
Yeah.
but not in any organized high school sports.
You ever go down to Hawthorne Cedar Knolls and play them at all?
No, we haven't.
Yeah,
So, Noble,
Great public game over here.
I do.
how many people do you employ?
220 employees currently.
And you need more people.
Yes, we do.
Always.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So
we-
is that a like, security issue, right? With COVID and coming out of COVID, I guess with this security issue for that, are you starting to re-ramp the security up because people are starting to come back, or talk to the little bit, yeah, for Tony's point.
So
About security.
part of the reason our census is low is because of COVID. Like the family, everything just came to a slow grind. And it's still a very difficult process to get referrals, and the process is still very slow. So I don't anticipate our census shooting up any given in the next year at all. This is going to be where it is till everybody catches up.
But you're looking for employees.
We're looking for
So
about
200
30 employees to
220.
provide, support in the school, support with direct care. We're looking for case managers. We're looking for social workers. We're always looking for employees. We're also looking for summer help.
Well, that's good to know.
And we usually employ about between 2 and 4 local Somers college kids that help us in the summer.
You do.
And the boys you said are always completely chaperoned at all times. And what's the number, boys to a chaperone?
So we run an 8-to-1 ratio.
8 to 1.
So 1 staff for every 8 weeks.
So, I mean, I think the takeaway here is safety. People need to want to understand that, the safety aspects of what's going on there. The other thing is communication. If somebody goes off campus and you have to institute a search, usually I'm getting calls about, different types of escalation, helicopters or whatever. We need to be able to communicate that to the residents. And I'm going to say right now that after we just did this and it's on TV, it's like most of the people in the town are not going to be paying attention to this. which is unfortunate.
You mean they're
But-
not watching us?
No, they probably want
That's
to,
disappointing.
we're putting them to sleep. So, I think the takeaway here is communication and to understand that we're, in a safe environment.
And Tony's 100% right, because I mean, it gets to the point now where with social media, where anytime there's a helicopter flying over, the first thought is, oh, somebody got out of Lincoln Hall. Well, we know that's not the case. I mean, we have Algonquin looking at their pipeline. We have NICEC looking at their wires. We have, just helicopters from West Point or where we're going over. And all of a sudden you look on up something. So that's where the communication, especially with our chief of police, not just the state, but if we could get something, if you don't have it already, with our chief of police and so we can get the information out to let people know.
And I also just want to be real clear, like, it's not a crime to leave our campus. We're part of the foster care system. So it's a violation of internal policy.
Okay.
So that's what they're violating. So if they run for whatever reason, they get picked up by the police, all the police does is bring them back.
So Noble,
Yes.
I mean, in your history though, at one point you were taking children that were remanded by the courts, maybe criminal courts? Or
Family
never?
court. I mean, unless
Will be
you've
family-
been here longer than I have, but as long as I've been there, it's all been through the family court system, and I've been there 18 years.
Okay.
Yeah, they do it. Well, I have to go to mine.
You did,
Yeah, I have to go
sorry.
to my- sorry, you can't.
No,
That's
I
fine.
mean, they do have charges. They do have minor felony charges or misdemeanors in times past. So yes, but we do, we have cutoffs. Like Noble said earlier, we don't take serious crimes against persons and, fire setters, sexual offenders and whatnot.
If you,
But
if you
it's-
could just state your name for us. that
Oh,
way
yeah, I'm
everybody knows.
Dr. Jim Coglin, Director of Residential Services, 42 years with the agency.
So you work with Mr. Gabriel.
Oh, yes, I know John. I knew John Gabriel well.
He's a good man.
Indeed.
Mr. Gabriel was a Somers resident for many, many years, who served on the Lincoln Hall board.
Yeah.
And he was just an all around good guy.
Yeah, he actually put in more than 50 years. I'm going for that record.
There you go.
Hmm.
So your major problem, if I can term it that way, is really staffing, is getting more staff right now. But other than that, things are going pretty well for you, at least as what is required by you through the 3 programs and where these kids come from.
How do you recruit? I mean, for staff? I mean, it's like most people in Somers don't know that you're looking for, I would think, right?
We use Indeed. We use, a lot of it's word of mouth. We do job fairs from time to time. We try to get to some of the local colleges and, up as far as, say, Marist, Poughkeepsie, or some in Lower Westchester.
And
But
that's
if you
another-
get that information, I'm sorry,
No, you
you get that information out to some of the local clubs, like Lions Club, Chambers Club, that have children in the district, into the school districts. One, that'll just propagate the communication, because you're actually asking for something, they're going to have to say why. And the other thing, it may fulfill, some need, for you as well.
Yeah, people who live in town and it's a 5-minute commute to campus and something like that. So I think there is an avenue there to, and again, reach out to the community. We have many people in town probably who are looking for jobs. As Tony said, they don't know they exist.
And we have a lot of people that live in town that work on our campus.
You do.
We do.
Do you have a number? Any idea? I recognize some of my
Can you
neighbors.
tell what a
I
number,
got lots in this room.
can you tell what a number guy is here?
I would say somewhere around between Mahopac, Yorktown, Mount Kisco, somewhere around 30.
Okay, good.
That's great.
But
So since we're advertising for applicants, is it a wonderful place to work where people are treated very well?
there's a lot of camaraderie. I mean, there's a lot of veteran staff. I mean, I'm the dinosaur, but there's a lot of folks that have worked with us for
So it's
over
a great
30
place to
years,
work.
20 years. mean-
If you're comfortable, can I just get a sense of the people here? Can you raise your hand if you work on campus there? Oh, that's fantastic that you
Great
came out to
support.
support.
Great
That is
support.
really,
Ah.
that's great.
Ah.
That's great. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
We appreciate you coming in, and thank you so much.
And we do want to say sort of a recognition to the front page paper person back there, Mrs. Di Lorenzo, who did a clothing drive. Was it clothing?
Sports equipment.
Sports equipment for Lincoln Hall. It was on the front page of the local paper. So thank you very much.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So while we're on that topic, thank you for the donations. So we have come up with a little idea for donations. We have a school store that's housed in our IVE school, where the children in our care have an opportunity to earn points and redeem those points for stuff they like, candy, t-shirts, socks, whatever it is. Our next fundraising efforts will be a collaborative effort for the school store. So markets can come hang out with our kids and ask them what they would like, and we'll formulate a plan and get some items together. And that's going to be our next fundraising project.
Just communicate it with us.
Fantastic.
Do you
Yeah,
need
but-
other, do you need other things right now that for people who are wondering, whether it be sports equipment or other things?
We're big on sports, but t-shirts and hoodies, socks and boxers are always great because that's what they ask for when they go home. And so, that's always top priority.
Well, thank you, Margaret. Please try and keep us in the loop with all that. I thought it was fantastic it was perfect timing for the meeting tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for everybody who works there for showing up tonight. That's, a real great showing and support. And so we do appreciate everything that you do over there.
Give them all comp time tomorrow. I'll just say right now.
So
Thank you.
thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Let's move on to number 3 on the agenda for the evening.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of
You're
the
welcome to
evening.
stay or.
Yes, exciting.
But I'd be out that door as quick as that person just was.
You want to take a maybe
Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break so we can get out.
break?
Yeah, make a motion. We take a 5-minute break.
Second, anybody want a second?
Well, no, I think there was a
There
question.
was a question.
Wendy?
Yeah.
Said anything public comments, non-agenda related.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Speak about.
You can come next week during public comment. You can make a comment if you like.
Well, that seems a little unfair.
yeah, why don't we look?
Yeah.
I make a motion to reopen public comment.
Well, do you want to just, did you want to just state that, Wendy? Or
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
come
Well, the process and.
bring that back?
I just never know when to come on.
Sure.
Wendy Nastasi. That all sounded very nice. And I'm coming to the party a little late because I just got back to town. The elephant in the room. Maybe I missed it. The people that were bussed in, the immigrants that came in illegally to our country. Apparently, I don't know, can someone verify that it's true, in the middle of the night, ending up in Lincoln Hall? Nothing was mentioned about them. Who are they? Are they in our town? If they already broke the law once, don't you think people in the town are on edge? And maybe this was all boring them because no one's talking about that, because that's what's on everybody's mind. So
I think you brought it up.
have you,
Well, Noble's.
you guys
still-
tiptoed
No,
around it.
no. Noble's still here. The Office for Relocation and Resettlement is the program you're talking about.
Yeah.
These are, children that were unaccompanied from
Wherever.
overseas or anywhere. There's about 60, what do you say, Noble? 50 or so in your,
50,
in the
yeah,
program.
Right now, yes.
Okay, and that's been going on
He has 100 beds.
since 2012. I mean, the program has been in place. He's been participating it as a not-for-profit, providing that service. I
So-
think that's,
Do we know who these people are? Do we have IDs,
That was the
names?
question
So
I
if
was
there's,
asking about.
do
the
we know if
documentation.
something's going on in town, if it's coming from,
That was the reason I was asking the question
And-
about documentation, and to Councilman
he-
Sirico's point,
that?
they have documentation.
said not
currently
much.
Provided by the Federal Family Reunification
but he said
Board.
there was
But
not
where
much.
does that
He said
come
there- he said there
from?
wasn't much,
Where's the
but it's-
root- I'm still talking.
Sorry.
Where does that originate? And I think the answer is he doesn't know and we don't know. And I think your point might be, we should know.
Yes, and doesn't our town, all the law-abiding citizens and we're paying taxes, have the right to know who's there?
I would
And
think
have
so.
names, photo IDs? Even if they're not citizens, shouldn't we know
I would think
these
so.
50 people?
No, I agree. I think they should
Don't we
have
have a right?
documentation. He says they do have documentation,
They do.
but the documentation comes from the Federal Family Reunification Board or Committee. And where do they get the documentation? What is their verification process? I'm curious as well, but I don't think Noble can answer that. But
So we just
uh,
have a
Screening
bunch
is-
of,
the screening is done by them.
Where's the point of origin? is unknown, and I think Mr. Voorhees said it's unknown to him as well under this program.
So how did,
Do you want to come back up, Noble?
Absolutely. Thank you for your question. I've given the town board information to reach out to the Office of Refugee Resettlement, and they will be able to provide more documentation and information on it. So they have the phone number and the email address that they can reach out to. And they
The
can,
federal government basically just sends them to you. And as Tony said, when we see a bus pull up, you don't have 90 people getting off the bus.
do
You might
not.
have 2 or 3 getting off the bus as you're making rounds around town.
that is correct. And feel free to send out that fact sheet with the information to contact Office of Refugee Resettlement directly, and you can talk to them directly.
So I think her question, if I'm right, name again, Kathy? Wendy. That the process, the screening process is done from the Office of Resettlement first,
That is correct.
and they go through the full screening process there. From that, you don't completely understand the full process that they go through of the screening process, but once the transportation, or you're responsible for them when they come onto campus.
That is correct.
So you don't, the in-between period, you're not privy to that information as well until they get to your.
That is correct. And our requirements is they have to be under 18. And the kids that come here have what they call a sponsor, someone that they're connected to in this country.
Right. And if that 1% that doesn't have the sponsor, right, or a family member, that 1%, as you said, mostly 99% get placed, that 1% goes back to where, and they try to.
We let the Office of Refugee Resettlement know there's a discrepancy, and they will come to the campus and pick the person up.
So Noble, once they go through the 30 days or so, they're typically here for 30 days, and then there may be some plus or minus that,
Yeah.
okay. They're here for 30 days and then they get placed with a family. So how does that transfer takes place?
Well, families come pick them up, and sometimes we drive the child to the family.
Okay.
Okay.
And that could be anywhere, correct? That could be-
Usually the Northeast. They're coming to Lincoln Hall. They're somewhere in the Northeast.
That decision's made by.
Yeah, they've figured out because there's shelters like us all around the country.
Yeah,
and so the Office of Refugee Resettlement goes through their own process and identifies this person needs to go to the Northeast.
How many offices are there?
A lot.
A lot. Yeah, I'm curious how many offices. I mean, I know everybody talks about a bus went north and a bus went south.
So I know there are organizations from Long Island up to Poughkeepsie.
Do you happen to, just out of curiosity, do you expect that you will see any kids from Ukraine?
No, because you have to have clinical staff, medical staff, and direct care staff that speak the language.
Oh, good point.
So there may be places, but the Lincoln Hall isn't one of them, or there.
Absolutely not. So
Yeah,
there are
at some point
criteria
it might be.
that the government vets out before they send. So if we don't have the staffing to meet the needs, we can't take
You
it.
don't speak Ukrainian? No?
Thank you, Noel.
You're welcome.
Is that?
so my question is, with this recent influx of people coming over our border that everybody knows about, how many, what's the head count that came to Lincoln Hall? Who are they?
I believe
And
there's.
how many more do we expect? And has Somers have any say in what's going on?
Somers doesn't have a say in the federal programs that are going on. This program, it's the way I see this is that this program's been in place. The refugee program has been in place since 1980, right? This organization's been here since the beginning.
I have no problem with Lincoln Hall.
Well, let me
It's this
explain.
recent
So what I'm
influx.
saying is that they have a capacity of about 60 people there. They've had that capacity since 2012. So they're operating at about 60 people right now in that program. So as you're seeing publicly that, refugees and border this are launching they're conducting business as they have, in the past. From my perspective, it's
Which is
communication
why I
with the
think she
public and
said she has no
safety.
problem with Lincoln Hall.
I didn't get my head count. What happened?
Well, the head count says there's 50 people there.
He
under
said,
this program right
How
now.
You must
many
have missed that part.
specifically? And-
But you got to
They have a
understand.
maximum of 100.
No, how
right?
many just came in?
He said,
What you have to understand is this program's been going on since 2012. We had somebody come speak to it. There just wasn't all of this media about it, about the buses at night. they've been getting the same people since 2012, refugee status, unaccompanied minors. It was happening in 2012, 13, 14, 15. Now it's just we have politicians getting on there saying, hey, there's buses going all over the place.
And the people
There were
were-
buses going in there before.
People just didn't know it. Now we know.
Well, we know it. They came here and they told us. They said our population has gone away from the, I'll say what they used to call them, the wayward youths, more to the unaccompanied minor refugees. They've been telling us that for, I mean, it's been in the papers and we've had it at our meetings in the past. So they have been telling us that for the last 10 years.
Okay.
So
So
just-
I don't want to take up all
No,
your
no,
time.
there's
I
one,
think-
one point that I think part of this was to get an understanding of the programs that are there. The second part that I've taken away too, and that we thought we would go down, is that Lincoln Hall is willing to have a question and answer, and for people to come to
Right.
Lincoln Hall to take a tour and to ask those questions that you have. And they're willing to do that. And that's the next step that we'll take, and we'll set something up hopefully in June or July where people can come and we can have, people can visit Lincoln Hall and have an open forum and a discussion.
But they're
and
never
ask
gonna
But
questions.
he said he can't give out any information.
They're not going to give you
No.
names.
Not about the individual kid,
No.
because there's privacy rights, right?
I understand that, but I still think
Talk about a
we
population,
should
but not
have an
necessarily a kid.
awareness of who is here. And he said that you can reach out to him to get that, correct?
We have a fact sheet that will.
We're gonna
that
put
the
them-
supervisor
gonna-
put on the
That at
website.
least the board and the police.
Yeah,
department have.
I hear you. When we reach out to the federal government and request that information, I don't think they're going to respond very.
No, they're not gonna give you
respond.
names and all that information. It's
But-
privacy laws.
Also, children in general, under 18.
Yeah, guys, this was, I didn't
But
want this
let's
to
maybe
be
give-
an open forum question and answer. The open forum
I
for
think
question
there
and
should
answer
be
will be
more
at
we
Lincoln
can
Hall
do
when we set
to
that up.
protect our town.
Okay.
We are, and that's,
Thank
we
All
are.
right, all right, thank you. I mean, that's fair.
Hi, I'm Margaret De Lorenzo. I just want to say, children are not illegal. That's all I got to say.
Well, but, oh, and also,
Okay.
it's the same as with the school district. We don't have control over the school district. We're not gonna start sharing all their names and what they've done and all that with the Somer School. I don't, so it's similar. And I'll reiterate what the supervisor said. And as I said earlier, in the 14 years I've been on the board and in the 55 years I've been in town, that's the most open and information we've gotten from Lincoln Hall. And they're obviously looking to open it even more, to give people an education on what goes on up there. And we appreciate that. Embrace it, call them up, go on a tour and ask your questions. What they can answer, they will. What they can't, they won't. And they'll politely tell you they can't. But at least you'll get a better understanding than just what we see on social media.
Yeah, let me just also say, I worked in a facility like this. And those were kids were all placed by the court who had some cases minor, some cases a little bit more than minor infractions. The population has changed over there, and the people who work there will tell me, and everybody, and if you go take a tour, I'm sure they will, that the population they have now is the least problematic and the most cooperative and the most appreciative of what they've had over their 50 years.
Yep.
So I think that it's not quite what probably many of us would think it is, but because it's changed. And from our perspective, probably for the better.
And if we can end with this, again, just if you do have questions, specific questions, you can email info@lincolnhall.org. You can ask your questions. I'm sure Noble will get back to you. And again, we'll look to set up an open house.
Yep,
And
we're gonna look to set up an open house and have
that'd be great.
have a question and answer day with them as well.
right,
Okay.
I'm going to go on the tour.
Okay, let's move on to number 3 here. Woodard & Current Professional Engineering Services Proposal, the HVAC System Design and Project Oversight. Anybody have any, want to discuss about this?
Put it in air conditioning.
This is part of a grant that we got, right?
Part of the grant, correct?
From
And we have Steve Robbins here. who-
150,000 from Senator Arkham, right? Is that
Hi,
do I have the right program I'm talking about?
Steve Robbins.
There are two grants. My name is Steve Robbins. I'm consulting town engineer. There are 2 grants that are going to be put towards modernizing and improving the efficiency and quality of HVAC here in Town Hall. One of them is a $100,000 grant from the State Municipalities Grant Program. And the second, the town court received about $14,000 for additional HVAC improvements specific to this room as the court.
Okay, and we pay 54 grand.
Steve, we're going to do some extensive opening walls here, and
We're hoping not to do too much extensive. We're trying to find HVAC technologies that are minimally invasive, given the historic nature of this building. The intent of the project, not just to improve the efficiency of heating and cooling here in the building and reduce energy costs, but also to remove some of the window air conditioners, or all the window air conditioners where we can, and do so in a way that's respectful to the historic nature of this building.
Are there limitations because of the designation of this building as a,
There are.
and those would be?
We have to be very sensitive to, especially the front facing building, and the State Historic Preservation Office will have the opportunity to comment on the design once it's put forward.
Oh, okay.
so just the thought popped up in my mind. I mean, we did some, rewiring because of telecommunications requirements here. And there were limitations, I think, in doing that. I mean, if you have the opportunity if we have to run fiber optic cable throughout this building, I mean, just think, maybe consider whether this may facilitate that.
Understood. Yes.
Anybody else? Any question? Anything?
Pretty straightforward.
Like to Patty, just move this to the consensus agenda
Yes.
for next week?
When would be the timeline on this?
We're obviously struggling with, like everyone else, with equipment availability and lead time issues.
Right.
Our first step will be to engage with several equipment vendors to understand lead times and different options for equipment, so we can put together a package that hopefully has some improvements in place by next winter, as many as we can get in
Okay, so hopefully by next winter.
by winter 22-23. We're looking to
Oh,
be working on this in the fall.
Got it.
Good. Thanks, Steve.
So consensus agenda for next
Thanks
week.
for all the help on the salt.
Lots going on.
Yeah, good stuff.
Number 4 on the agenda here tonight is 2022 fireworks agreement.
No, that's what everybody wants to hear about.
And,
Consensus agenda.
we're going to go to consensus agenda here for next week.
We are getting them.
Where are we going to do it this year?
We are doing it at Reese Park this year
Reese Park.
on June 25th. The rain date will be June 26th. We're having some great discussions with making it a full affair with the town, the Lions Club, the Chamber of Commerce, Sons of Somers. So there's a lot of organizations looking to help out this year. So we have some good bands coming. We have some food trucks. So it's going to be a great night to celebrate.
And as always, the fireworks will be, I'm always amazed at how good they are for what we pay. They always go on a lot longer than I thought.
And Tom, as long as we've been here, it's the same amount of money.
It is, hasn't gone up at all.
That's
Yeah,
like
that's
the
not
only thing I
helpful.
can think of.
Wait a minute, it's gone.
It's 2022.
It's going up a lot.
Okay, let's go.
Actually, are we able, I'm just curious, I know in the past, are we still taking donations for those? We've more or less stopped taking the donations.
Yeah, we couldn't.
We couldn't, we weren't allowed, we listened to Roland.
Which I don't know why people can't donate money. That just doesn't make sense.
You're not allowed
Can
to
you tell
donate.
us that one more time, Roland?
Don't say it, Roland. I like you.
Yeah, and he won't.
He won't.
He won't say it.
Well, you told them to say it and then you said, don't say
And
it.
then we put it in the budget every year for the fireworks, and we're looking forward to it again this year.
Yeah, correct.
I'll probably be doing parking, so don't hit me.
I'll be running out of space in my driveway.
As long as you have a vest on.
What's that?
As long as you have a vest on.
No, they still might go after me.
You know.
All right.
Number 5 here on the agenda tonight, residential food scrap transportation and disposal program. Talk a little bit about the program here. What we're looking to do here as a town is to start up a food compost facility. A bunch of other towns have done it, surrounding towns have done it there. Going a little bit more green of what we've done before with the EV charging stations, our stretch code, our energy stretch code. I think this would be a great addition to that as well, where people then can bring in their vegetables, their fruits, their grains, meat, dairy, eggshells, nuts, you name it, coffee filters, tea bags, parchment paper, uncoated paper plates, and then there's some other and bags, dishware, and cutlery. We'll set up 10 bins in a location. We'll have a service come and transport that out. We'll see how it gets filled up, if it's once a week or twice a month of that nature. We'll see it maybe ongoing that. There's initial startup cost for it as well, a little bit over 5,500 for that, the 10 bins of that. And after the first year, it goes down to 4,800. But I think it's a great service to provide for people as we go more green in the community. And
You know, so if someone does this, you would have very little garbage, each of us, because with what you put out for recycling, you can take your food. So what's left is very little, which is, that's good for landfills, good for the environment, good for all sorts of things. So, you know, it takes some work, but we all got to, you know, do some work to do what is right. So this will be good.
Okay.
Good enough.
Consensus. Yeah, that's fine.
Consensus. Yeah, we'll put it to the consensus agenda for next week. Great. Number 6, award bid and authorize the supervisor to execute a contract for the installation of 100 kilowatt generator in the Somers Library in the amount of $80,000 with light electric per memo dated April 25th, 2022 from Thomas J. Tuma, Building Inspector. Consensus agenda for next week, please.
Yep.
Number 7, authorize supervisor to enter into a intermunicipal agreement and IMA with the County of Westchester in order for the county to release $175,000. That's not it. From the East of Hudson WQIP fund to partially fund the town's cost to construct a salt receiving, processing, and storing structure at the Somers Highway to Garage, pending the approval from the Westchester County Board of Legislators. Move that to the consensus agenda as well, please. Authorize the solicitation of requests for proposal to replace the original section of the annex and chimney caps per memo dated April 22nd, 2022 from Thomas J. Tuma, Jr., Building Inspector. Please move to the consensus agenda as well. And then number 9 on our agenda, declare May 8th through 14th, 2022 Turquoise Takeover Week to raise crucial awareness of the leading cancer killer and rally support to stand against lung cancer in the town of Somers and across the nation. I'd like to make a motion to declare May 8th through the 14th as Turquoise Takeover Week.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then tonight here, we have Molly Franco, Community Engagement Coordinator for the American Lung Association. And Molly, here we have a proclamation here for you from the Office of the Supervisor, and I'll read the proclamation. You want to come? You want?
Sure.
Yeah, please.
Wait, walk up there.
Just
Why
walk
don't you
up
walk up there?
So let me just read this here. So whereas about every 2.5 minutes, a person in the US is diagnosed with lung cancer. And whereas lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths for women and men. And whereas lung cancer screening saves lives and advocacy and increased awareness will result in more high-risk individuals getting screened. And whereas public support for research funding will result in new treatments and better methods for early detection. And whereas Lung Force, a national initiative led by the American Lung Association to defeat lung cancer. Now and therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the entire town board of the town of Somers, I, Robert Scarano, Supervisor, do hereby designate the second week in May as Turquoise Takeover Week throughout the town. Encourages all residents of the town of Somers to learn more about lung cancer, risk factors, and early detection.
I'll grab one.
Can I ask why turquoise? Why the color of turquoise?
Okay, I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
I know red
Just similar to
ribbon,
breast cancer,
red
it's
ribbon
like a
ring.
color that's designated. for-
Okay, pink for, okay.
I'll send it to Carol.
Do you mind if I say, okay, do you mind if I say something?
Sure.
Yeah, please do.
Great, please.
Because, you know, I did not, if you asked me, I don't think I would have said lung cancer is a leading cancer
Yes,
death.
unfortunately has the highest mortality.
Yeah, I
rate.
did not know that, so I'd like to learn
So,
more.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not going to give you too many facts and figures. Actually, the plaque has a lot of information on it. First off, I just want to say that I am a former Children's Home of Poughkeepsie child care worker. I just thought I'd mention that from the discussion we were having earlier. They offer a lot of similar services to Lincoln Hall. And that work is really difficult work, but it's the work that inspired me to go back to school for social work and ended me back up where I am today. So I definitely support what Lincoln Hall is doing. And a lot of those youth changed my life. So just wanted to start by that. But as for the American Lung Association, I just want to thank the town of Somers, Supervisor Scarano, and all of the council members on your acknowledgement of Turquoise Takeover Week. While lung cancer remains the #1 cause of cancer deaths, the survival rate has significantly increased in the past decade, which is amazing. And that's due in part to campaigns like these. So awareness really breeds early detection and innovation in the public health and medical sectors. And I hope you all take a peek at ALA's other activities for Turquoise Takeover Week. Throughout New York State, even in Times Square, there's going to be illuminations that are turquoise, celebrating Turquoise Takeover Week. So the town of Somers is definitely not alone on this one. And also visit lungforce.org and join the upcoming Lung Walk on June 25th. I think I heard you guys say that you have your fireworks on the 25th, but maybe you could go do the Lung Walk during the day at Manhattanville College in Purchase, New York, and then maybe celebrate with some fireworks after. And then additionally, I would just like to promote the services of my team specifically, which is Power Against Tobacco. Power stands for Putnam, Orange, Westchester, and Rockland. We're an advocacy organization, well, not advocacy organization, excuse me, but we provide technical assistance, signage, anything that either property managers, municipalities, and work sites may need to create policies and promote smoke-free, vape-free environments. So if anybody is interested in expanding their smoke-free policy, I know Town of Somers may have a few gaps in their policy that they might want to take a peek at. I've noticed, but you know, but that's just me. But if you want to take a peek at it, I can always help you after this session and email. We could chat afterwards about, you know, what's possibly missing from your policy. Additionally, we provide free signage, free technical assistance. So if anybody listening has a work site that they want to develop a smoke or vape free policy for, just please let me know. My email is molly.franco@lung.org, lung, L-U-N-G, the organ. And that's all I have for today. If anybody has any questions.
Well, Molly, you know, we have a committee called Partners in Prevention.
Yes.
They're pretty much focused on opioid abuse and marijuana, but it's really about safety and public safety and risky behavior.
Yes.
All right. How does this dovetail or can it dovetail into what we're doing there? I mean,
of course. I'm on several coalitions. I think it's Kathy Kutcher. I could be.
Oh, you know Kathy. Okay,
yeah.
so you.
I talked with her last week. We had a long conversation. We share a lot of the same coalitions. Westchester Coalition for Drug and Alcohol Free Youth. And I would just also like to say, while my organization doesn't specifically cover marijuana policy, if something is smoke and vape free, that also includes marijuana. So that's also something to keep in mind. It's a way to maybe include that in your policy language without directly saying it.
Are there any statistics that maybe show that, you know, lung disease with, you know, marijuana
it's not unfortunately it's not really my field. I could definitely get back to you on that if you're really interested. But I think in general, secondhand smoke, thirdhand smoke, and smoking obviously is going to really have a negative impact on your lungs, no matter what it is that you're smoking.
Well, Molly, you know all the right people in the town.
Yes, I definitely do. Amazing partners in Westchester.
You know, I was in Boston this past weekend, and actually on the no smoking, it would list vaping, tobacco, and marijuana.
Yeah, a lot of municipalities right now. I just finished work in the city of Yonkers. They just added vaping and marijuana, but that I really focused on the vaping to their playgrounds. policy because it was missing. They just had no smoking. A lot of towns have these existing policies from, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s, when there was a big push against cigarettes. But, you know, these days, you know,
But are these policies about language, signage, or, I mean, where does that go?
Say again?
These,
Can you
when you
clarify?
talk about policies,
Yeah.
you're talking about policy language and signage.
Yes,
and things of
so
that
we can
nature.
assist, we cannot directly advocate. We can just educate you on your options for policy,
Okay.
but, and then provide you with whatever you need to enact that policy. So if you need specific language, we receive help from the Public Health Law Center and other law advocates and things like that who can construct that language. Because some municipalities don't really have the capacity to do so. And then additionally, we can give signage to reflect whatever that policy is. We can't just give out signage if you don't have a policy, but you know. And we have, yeah.
But you do have signage.
Oh,
that
we have
has
free, we
been-
have free signage, yes, and that can be tailored to whatever policy is adopted. So let's say it's 50 free from entrances, we have signage that reflects that. If it's no smoking, you couldn't get vaping. We have signage for that. If it's no smoking and vaping, we have that as well.
And that would be, we use these in buildings, we use these in the
Yeah,
park,
yes,
we
yeah.
use it in the
So I
park.
noticed Somers has a no smoking policy for all municipal buildings. It does not include vaping, but like, let's say you were willing to expand that policy, we could provide signage for that if you were interested. I know some towns like to do it in-house and have their town logo or and things like that on it, but we have
How
our own
about
signage.
parks, the outdoor?
Yep, we have, I have it in my car. I don't have it with me right now. We have one sign that says Young Lungs at Play. It's green, it has a child swinging on it. It's really nice. Yeah, so I'm in talks with the city of Yonkers right now to possibly provide them with signage as well.
Maybe our parks would be interesting.
Yes, I think actually your parks, I'm sorry, I don't mean to educate you on your town.
Please do.
Before the meeting, I was just interested.
Please do.
I was just interested. Yeah, but I was just interested. But there is, it does say no smoking and vaping for playgrounds, but just it is lacking in the municipal building area. But it does say it for playgrounds, so that's good.
All right.
All right, excellent.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No.
All right, perfect.
Thank you
so much.
Send us
Yeah, no,
signs and keep educating.
Yeah,
us.
I
There you
will
go.
email you all.
Please.
Thank you so much. And I think Supervisor Scarano has my
I do.
information.
I'll pass
so
this out to everybody.
Thank you so much.
Love
Thanks
your
for coming.
enthusiasm.
Okay, number 10. Combined July 7th, 2022 work session and July 14th, 2022 regular meeting into one meeting. I just wanted to bring it up for discussion here. I know there's been
I was,
anybody,
yeah, there's precedence that we've done it, actually, I think for both July and August in the past.
July, we'll keep that going, but as far as the date, right? As far as the date, do you guys have a preference of which date that you want to do?
So I was thinking
Those
that
two, I
July,
take 7.
I was thinking, what?
Oh, I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, good, you go.
I thought if he was asking a preference of those two
Okay.
dates, I would prefer the 7th.
To be the 7th, to be postponed.
No, he wants it to be on the seventh.
He wants it beyond the 7th. I was going to go the other way because you have July 4th. Is it July 4th on Monday? Right? And so typically you got a short week there. Most people take vacations that week. So. you
Well, I'm
combine
not.
it to the
For the
14th.
record, I'm going to be out of town for both, so.
All right. Zoom in.
I prefer
I'm
the
okay.
14th.
Whatever.
prefer the 14th?
You prefer to meet on the 14th?
Meet on the 14th.
Yeah.
Well,
How are you 14th?
I will be in another part of the country.
Well, zoom in.
I will be out of the country.
Out, another part of the country?
I'll be in the country. They don't let me leave. though.
I don't have a
I haven't
preference.
gotten the release yet, so I have to stay in the country.
Okay.
That ankle bracelet only goes so far.
I know, eventually.
So I'm gonna move this next week. We'll have it.
All right, we'll think about it.
We'll move it to next week.
We'll be, yeah,
And
we'll,
we'll-
we'll get into,
We have three.
what's
Yeah,
that?
You have
so
3 guaranteed on either date.
either
so-
day, right? So we'll just,
Oh,
yeah, we'll have a more of an internal discussion. We'll bring this up again next week.
and is it
Okay.
our intent? Is it the board's intent, supervisor's intent? The same thing in August? I actually.
Same thing in August as well, to combine the two in August. That's what you guys have done. For the
Sometimes.
Several years.
past several years.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, we.
I mean, I think we could wait and see if, normally the agendas in July and August are
Pretty light.
minimal at best,
Correct.
you know.
And there's nobody around to listen to it.
Right, so, well, not that there is now, but,
Here's-
so I think we can take a look at it, but, that's what we have done for the last few years.
Yeah, we'll combine them too.
Because then keep in mind, soon after that, we have a week of meetings when we do the budget and all that, so it's not like we have a lack of meetings.
I like more meetings, Tom.
I know you do. You meet every day, Rich.
Yes, I love my job.
There you go. Good for you. Unless there's basketball involved. In which case you go to that.
We'll just put it to next week and
Yep.
we'll make a decision next week.
Okay.
Okay. Parks and Rec, no additional business, financial, no additional business, highway, no additional business, personnel. There are current vacancies here. Affordable Housing Board, 1 2-year term ending July 11th, 2022. Assessment Board of Review, 1 5-year term ending 9/30/2023. Library Board of Trustees, 1 5-year term ending 12/31/2025. Parks and Rec Board, 2 3-year terms ending March 9th, 2025. Partners in Prevention, 2 3-year terms ending 12/31/2022. And again, Partners in Prevention, 1 3-year term ending 12/31/2023. Some more vacancies here. Affordable Housing Board, a 2-year term ending July 11th, 2022. I'd like to acknowledge the retirement of Vicky DeSanto, Head of Children's Services, Children's Library, 2nd of Somers Library, effective April 30th, 2022. Vicky has been with the town of Somers for 15 years.
Yeah, and I just make a quick comment. As somebody with, at the time had younger kids, now they're 20 and almost 15. But Vicky was a phenomenal resource in the children's department over at the library. Anytime I had any questions about books or possible subjects that my kids were doing projects on, she was incredibly helpful. She was a smiling face in the children's department. And in addition, as we went through COVID, and I was the chair of the COVID, I'll call it the COVID task force. Vicky was more or less our liaison with the library and made every meeting, was very helpful, keeping us informed with what the library was doing, what protocols they had in place, and just always putting the safety of the public and the employees over there ahead of everything. So we will miss her. She's a super nice person, and she did a great job. So we do thank her.
Anybody else? So I'm going to make a motion to acknowledge the retirement of Vicky DeSanto. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
With regret.
Acknowledge the resignation of Flo Broadley as a member of the Somers Energy Environmental Committee, which serves at the pleasure of the town board, and make her a guest member effective April 16th, 2022. I'd like to make a motion to acknowledge the resignation of Flo.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank
Now,
you,
Flo will
Flo.
still be going if you know.
Thank you, Flo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flo will still be going.
Flo is a font of
Flo will still
information.
go, right? Yeah, she was always going.
She's a font of information. She has knowledge on all sorts of topics.
Flo's got to go.
And I've worked with her up on Heritage Hills on a couple of other things, and she's always been very helpful. So again, like Richard said, she's not going anywhere. She's just probably taking a little breather.
I don't know. She's a
But
barrel of energy. No
she
doubt
is.
about
She's
that.
great.
Yeah.
She's great. So thank you, Flo.
Yeah, anything she does,
Flo
she's great
don't
at.
go, right? That's it.
You're gonna find something.
I had to say that.
Dead horse now.
Yeah.
Fine.
So there's no additional business for planning and engineering. There's no additional business for the police. The proposed consensus agenda. Anybody have anything for that? I'd like to make a motion to keep it as is. Right. Nothing.
And this is National Historic Preservation.
Yes, it is National Historic Preservation Month. The calendar looks like May 12th, we're doing our town board regular meeting. June 2nd, town board work session, June 9th, our town board regular meeting, and we will talk about the July next week. There are some announcements here. Household Recycling Day at Sprain Ridge Park in Yonkers. That is this Saturday, May 7th. That's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And that's at Sprain Ridge Park, 149 Jackson Avenue in Yonkers. Another one here is the Somers Lions Club Carnival, Wednesday, May 18th to Sunday, May 22nd, here at the Fireman's Field on Route 202. St. Luke's Episcopal Church medical supplies, T-shirts and socks collection for Ukraine war victims in conjunction with Irina Portenka, world-renowned pianist from Kiev, Ukraine. So what they're looking for is medical supplies needed, large bandages, elastic wrap, surgical tape, tourniquets, etc. T-shirts are needed in the following colors: khaki, dark green, brown, sand in short and long sleeve and sizes, large, extra large, and double X. Socks are needed, medium to large, and that is through May 19th, 2022 at St. Luke's Church, 331 New York, Route 100. You can visit their website. Lasden, Friends of Lasden Park and Arboretorium presents the 100-acre wood exhibit, Forest Friends, open on select days through Sunday, May 29th. That's at Lasden Park, 2610 Amawalk Road, Route 35, Katona, New York. You can visit their website as well. I believe that is all we have for this evening.
Do we have the
anything to close?
information about the Ukrainian aid on our website, or?
We do have it on our website.
We
I'd
do,
like to-
so if
Channel
someone wants
20,
to
it's
know.
on there.
Okay,
You can see the information there. I looked at it last night. It's on there.
yeah, that's good, because, we're all Ukrainians at the moment, so we can help.
I think we have to wish all the mothers, or want to wish all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day. Watch how I phrase that.
Hey, well, Carol's watching.
We
You
must.
have to, she's
Yeah,
like-
so it's great to everybody do
Happy
some
Mother's Day,
real nice
everybody.
planning for mom. Yeah.
And for all
Mom deserves it.
the boys and girls out there this
Absolutely.
weekend that are making their communions,
Yes.
big weekend going on for that as well. So if anybody has anything else, I'd like to.
Is that Lions Club, is that race, is that still on for Saturday? The Lions
Yes.
race?
The track meet is, yes. The track
Because
meet
of
is,
the weather? Still
yeah,
on?
but as of right now, I haven't heard anything if it's canceled or not.
10 till 4, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m.
Yes.
And it's the largest in Westchester.
Largest in Westchester.
Oh, yeah, I know a
Last
lot of
night.
high schools going there, and they have some pretty famous runners coming to come run in a featured race, I think, to kick it off. I think it's not.
We'll be there.
Anybody else? I'd like to make a motion to conclude tonight's work session for
Second.
Thursday, May 5th, 2022. I guess,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Night, everyone.
Nice.
Night.